Hello, Internet. Welcome to real life. I put up a post on the community tab asking you to question your answers. So here we go. But before I say that, I want to say really quick, I'm going to have a meetup on September 30th here in Kansas. That's in another community tab. But you can meet me and you can go on a motorcycle ride with me because I'm going to ride from Kansas to Oklahoma. So if you want to ride with Canada details and Discord server with all that stuff is there. Now, let me ask you some of your answers. The Luxo Mast A2A41. What 125cc starter bike would you recommend to people starting out riding? I'm from the UK and displacement is more strict depending on license and age. Yes, I know. That's a hard, big, open question to answer. And here in America, I'm not really familiar with 125s, but I realize that's what you start off with in the Europe. But I made a 3-part video series called So You Want to Buy a Motorcycle with hopefully all the information you need to make a decision on what kind of bike to start off with. I just read Mullis 212's question, make a video about beginner riders. I did kind of just answer that one. Stitches the Clown, what would you say be the craziest moment that's ever happened while riding your bike, i.e. crash animals, ect? This is going to be a lame answer, but so much weird stuff has happened, I can't pick one. Luckily, most of the things that have happened have ended up on camera and in a video. Beast Lyrics 2947, can you rank your favorite Star Wars movies from best to worst? Why is it in that order? Oh man, that'd be a long answer. Not objectively best to worst, just favorite to worst. Phantom Menace is number 1. I know it's a bad movie, but I like it because I saw it a lot as a kid. And then probably the rest of the prequel trilogy, so I'm just going to say Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith, and then I'd probably put the original trilogy in its most favorite order, so Empire Strikes Back, Last Jedi, A New Hope. Let me look up what the Disney Star Wars movies were called. The Force Awakens, yeah, okay. Next would be The Force Awakens, The Rise of Skywalker, and The Jedi, last. And they're in that order because of the memories I have with them more so than whether or not they're good or bad. Dutch Misfit 7919. What drives you to keep riding even after serious crashes? Got him. Got him with a tit slap. That's actually a good question, although that kind of implies that my crashes have been serious, which, I mean, I guess I've had one serious crash. I've crashed many times. Because I like it. I haven't had in my mind what's a serious crash. I've thought to myself, if I lost a limb, I'd find a way to make the motorcycle work. But I don't know that. I actually haven't had a crash that serious that would make physically driving a motorcycle difficult. It's not that for me. It's just been a problem of healing and getting to a position where I can ride again. You like 2 strokes? Well, usually it takes more than that for me. Sexually. It was a sex joke. Toasty McGhosty. That's fun. With all these other YouTubers doing YouTube full-time, why don't you? Seems like it'd be more rewarding and beneficial to do it full-time as opposed to working for Amazon. Well, yeah, I guess it would be if YouTube would pay me, but like I don't get to choose, really, at the end of the day, if YouTube gets to be a full-time job. Like I could work full-time on YouTube, but that doesn't mean it's going to pay full-time. And it doesn't pay full-time, so. Bandwagon 240. You still have that Jeep? No. People ask about it. I sold it years ago. I was tired of paying to keep it running because it was such a Frankenstein. Dad mode 5545. What is your favorite thing to take while thinking about how to forget about the times you were about to stop the process that would lead to additional thought-provoking measures hitherto unseen? I try not to attach my perception of external processes through physical, tangible media that would otherwise be kept on my person. Skippity skeep skeep 923. What's the biggest rush of adrenaline you've had? Nothing specific comes to mind, but it was either a near crash, first roller coaster ride, or embarrassing myself in front of a girl. It's up there somewhere. Alex McMillan, how did you start biking? When did you start biking, and what was your first bike? I started biking on a motorcycle. Why? Because my brother got a motorcycle, and I wanted to get a go-kart, but go-karts weren't street legal. Jeeps were too expensive, and I thought, well, a motorcycle's a good in-between, I guess. My brother has one. He seems to like it. I'll try it. And I got hooked, and that was when I was 19, and my first bike was a 1992 Kawasaki Ninja 250. Anti-Derek Squad, how many tiny animals have met their demise at the hands of your bike? 1.5. R. Moody 8591. Top 3 motorcycles for Walter. Top 3 games of all time for Walter. Favorite game released in the past 5 years. Top 3 motorcycles are the Ducati Panigale V4 because it is the most attractive bike I've ever seen. If it was a woman, that'd be nice. And I guess my bike, of course, the Super Duke 1290R, and I'm just gonna say I'm kind of a fanboy of the Yamaha Tenere T7 or Tenere 700. Even though I've never ever ridden or touched one, I would like one. Top 3 games to Halo all time: Halo 1, 2, 3. Kind of a cheap answer, but I'm sticking with that one. I don't know, man. I played Breath of the Ass. What was it? Tit of the Wild, the new Zelda game. That was awesome. I don't know if I put it at my favorite the past 5 years, but maybe. Vex Arc. What is your most memorable destination you've gone to? Colorado, because I remember it. Noah Cantor 8915. What's your craziest police interaction you've had? Also been a subscriber for years now. Keep up the great work. Thanks. I guess my most popular video, Busted 7. That's just objectively the craziest encounter with police I've ever had. Salem 7439. Favorite type of cheese? Thank you, a good question. My favorite questions are questions that I've never been asked. I don't think I've been asked that, but the correct answer is Colby Jack. Not a Tokes. No time to explain. That makes way more sense. Do you have a dream ride you would like to do? Anything goes, from continent crossing rides to runs around Isle of Man or Nürburgring. I want to know what would be on the top of the list. I don't know if this is the answer, but I've always wanted to do a ride across the lower 48 states. So just basically ride America. Assuming that there were no limitations, I'd pick something more exotic. I'd either say riding around Scotland and going in between the roads and off-road like an adventure ride. Some country like that where I can just explore a country. Yeah. Maybe Scotland. I hear it's great. My friend did it, and he said it was the best ride he ever did. So nothing in particular, but I'd like to ride in another country that's English still, and where I can be on and off road. Yeah. Thor ride. Do you think movies portray motorcycles well? For example, the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible jump, Skyfall opening sequence, etc. What a fun question. You'll see people making YouTube videos explaining how when someone plays a piano, they're not playing it correctly because they play piano. So someone who knows the thing knows what's wrong with it. And so as someone who rides, yeah, I see when things are wrong. Generally, motorcycle riding is depicted correctly and almost always by someone who has a much higher skill level in riding than myself. But occasionally I'll see something and I'll go, no. Like, get on the clutch. You can't just do, like, you'll see things. But generally, aside from being, what's the word? Sensationalized, nothing sticks out except for you said the bike ride being a Skyfall. That was a real thing, I believe, and there's some really cool stuff, like this guy went up a flight of stairs on a bike. You can totally do it. It was awesome. Brixton 7641. What motorcycle did you wish you always wanted but didn't turn out to be what you wanted? Oh, I think I see. So a motorcycle I thought I wanted until I got it, and then it turned out it wasn't what I wanted. I haven't hated any of the bikes I bought, but I guess I did buy that Cruiser for a little bit, and it ended up being way more uncomfortable for me to ride than I thought, and so that was a big downer. It was a Suzuki Boulevard 800, something like that. Alavamari, what bike you missed the most and why? Good question. I was just reminiscing on my Ninja 650. Love that bike. I've had 2 of them. Although if I did it again, I think I would really like to try the Yamaha MT-07, which is basically that equivalent, and that bike is awesome too. Barry Elevertron 720. What's your favorite memory from riding or favorite memory involving bikes? October 25th, 2015. I believe that was the day. I remember it like a woman remembers an anniversary. I took my red Ninja 2007 Zixer, and I just decided to ride out east, and I ended up with strangers at a gas station on their motorcycles, and then I rode in some place I've never been before through Missouri, and it was fall, and there were these like windy, just romanticized roads with leaves falling, and it was like an hour or 2 of just perfect weather. I was like, oh, it was maybe the best ride I'd ever been on. It certainly was for a long time. If there was a better ride, it's not coming to mind. Latlum 4343. How are you? How are you? I'm alright. It's Sunday. Got no plans. Feeling good. Dustin Bergen 7792. How old is Ronan getting to be? He's getting to be 8. He's not 8 yet, but he's getting there. This 8 guy. Do you get the same satisfaction / pleasure / sexual satisfaction from riding now as you did when you first started riding? It's a different kind of satisfaction for sure. When I was younger, in general, everything was more, you know, I'm older now, so now I'm like, eh. It's less of a thrill and more of a meditation or a calming thing. Yeah, I think it's a good analogy. Riding used to be an energy drink. Now a ride is a cup of tea, you know? It's a fly trying to be famous. Won't happen on this channel. So it's not the same satisfaction or pleasure, but the equal amount of satisfaction / pleasure. LeviIam.5354. What is your favorite movie character to quote? Oh man, that's too hard. I quote so much random stuff. Lately, I can't say my favorite, but lately I've been quoting Robbie Rotten. What do I owe you? Nothing. It's for free. Free.
What do I owe you? Nothing. It's for free. Free.
I love that bit. The Flying Geordie. Out of all your videos, what have been your favorite clips, whether it be crashes or funny moments? The more wholesome, the more better. You know, like, I can't think of a specific example, but like, just you see someone you haven't seen in a long time, or you witness something that you weren't necessarily supposed to see, but it was just a nice moment between two people that either makes my day or makes their day. Those are my favorites. Blunt F3292. When would you be going to Uray, Colorado? I'd like to meet you. Not much goes on here on the res. I was just there like a week ago. I'm going to be making a long-ass motovlog, hopefully not too long, about my trip in Uray. Blessed Veteran Adventures. It's almost time to start wearing the suits. When will you wear the Halo suit? Halloween. I have to wear it on Halloween. It's the law. Christopher T. Any notable stories delivering for Amazon? Scary or funny situations? The best situations are always dogs. There was one time when I came up to a house and then 2 twin puppies, baby Labrador golden retrievers, came out to see me, and it was a brother and a sister. You could tell because of the blue and the pink collars. And the owner came out and I was like, oh, and she's like, yeah, they're twins. Like, oh, and yeah, anyway. So dogs, nothing particular, but just dogs. Mandalove 1858. Has there been a crash that changed the way you ride? Like you used to recklessly speed, but after a certain accident, you are more cautious.
Not true. Not true.
I refute the accusation that I used to recklessly speed. If I did, I still do. My speed hasn't changed at all. But a crash that changed the way I ride? Well, most recently, the last time I went down on my FX, now I just, because this thing has slid out from under me so many times now, it's beaten it out of me to have any kind of confidence in the turns with it. So now on this bike, if I'm in a turn, then I just go way slower than I think I need to because, yeah. I will say most every crash I've had has been a result of something that I could have corrected or therefore rider error. So on one hand, everybody crashes. On the other hand, Anthony Webb, you want us to make your content? Boo! I'm making this for you. Kind of for me, but mostly for you. Just kidding. What's the maintenance plan on the Zero look like? That's a good question. Not much. I've had to do a couple big service things on it. The bike has a little over 11,000 miles. Maintenance is mostly just tires, fluids, and brakes. Anui, it's like diarrhea, but spelled wrong. 1481. Do you still listen to Blind K when you ride? Sometimes, yeah. Perry Wayaz 3660. What's the dumbest, least informed take you've seen in a comment? Well, that would be quite an award, wouldn't it? Because there's no shortage of them. But I will tell you, if you're looking for an expert or professional or experienced person, you know where they are. You know exactly where to find them. They're always in the YouTube comments waiting to help. Rogue Shadow Unit 4694. What's the weirdest bike you've ridden or owned? The weirdest one? Well, I guess the Zero would count. It's so different than any bike I've ever had. I get asked about it the most. The Saki Guy. What bike did you start on? What are all your current bikes? Are you planning on getting a new bike? Any mods for any bikes you have? Well, I just have the 2018 KTM Super Duke R 1290, and I have the Zero FX. I did do some new mods on the FX, and I'm planning to make a video at some point, kind of like this one in Formula 1, showing them off, but I'm not planning to get a new bike. Joy Griffiths 7880, can I say hi? We may never know. Richard Hirsch 2828, what is your favorite part of your first group ride to Colorado Springs? Also, would you do it again? P.S. I was one of their riders. Okay, can I see your face? Can I rememberize you? His face is shrouded in the darkness. I don't know who that is, but hi. My favorite part of the ride was, it was either just stopping and chatting every once in a while, I love that, or it was the things that went wrong or not according to plan, and then the new stuff that fell into place instead of it. That's always fun. But a reminder, I'm doing another ride, 5-year anniversary. It's when I did that in September 29th. So now September 30th, I'm doing another ride, and you can join me for that if you want. Khaki Wade 6058. What kind of bike would you recommend for a beginner who also never learned to ride a normal bicycle? Asking for a friend. I gotta say, I'm studying to become a coach right now to teach motorcycles to people, and apparently it's a prerequisite or an expectation that new students know how to ride a bicycle. I didn't know that. Kind of makes sense, but My advice would be to learn to ride a bicycle first. Asmodo, important question. Can you get a helmet microphone setup? I should do a helmet setup video. I should make a video for you guys. Cap Nolf took 790. How hyped are you for Avatar 3? The way air be. That's almost certainly a reference to a video I made. I have some movie reviews on another one of my channels. If you go to my channel, go to the channels tab, they're listed there. I'm not excited is the answer. Chisel Vision. With all the mods and accessories you can get for a helmet, what are your top 3 helmet items minus Legos and aesthetics? Camera number 1. Get a camera on there just for safety. Like, use it as a dash cam. Second to that, it sure is convenient to have a battery pack for the purpose of running the camera all day long, but most people don't need it. And then number 3, if your helmet has this option, if it's not included, oh my goodness, pin lock at the very least in your visor to prevent fogging. And on that same note, if you can get one that's photochromic or can tint on its own, oh, it's awesome. Call sign, Roadkill, BB3TV. If you had 3 wishes, only rule being you don't get any more, no matter what loophole you try, what would you wish for? That's a hard question. I'll tell you what though, I'm certain one of them at least would be to wish for something that I don't want anyone to know about. So even if I knew what it was, I couldn't tell you what it was. And I'm not just saying that to shirk the answer, but like that's a fact. I'd have like a secret wish. R.D. account 9519. Let's not stop with the 4 numbers. How tall? That's a short question. It's deep. I assume he's asking how tall I am. I'm 6'3" in America. In other countries it's different, I hear. Ewald 3107. What are your thoughts on Kansas as a state? What do you like and dislike about living there? Ect. Well, a good and bad thing is that it's boring. Bad because, you know, you're not proud to be here. If you have people are going to visit, you're going to go, oh, sorry, it's just Kansas. On the other hand, you're just kind of out of the way and no one cares that you're there, and your state is never depicted in a movie, and you can just kind of be invisible. It's convenient geographically because it's the middle, so if I want to travel, it's the same distance kind of everywhere. That's nice for me. And the weather is pretty boring but generally fair as far as we kind of have 4 seasons, you know, so it's, again, that's a boring thing but also a good thing. Morga GT213. How often do you practice swerving and emergency braking? Do you feel it's adequate? I don't practice it enough. I want to practice it more. Usually I think to actually dedicate some lot time, and I'll like every couple years, and I'll go out and I'll just make up imaginary exercises for myself to do for fun. But I really should be doing it like way more often, because I feel good when I get out there and realize, oh, I'm pretty good. And then I realize 15 minutes later, I'm way better. Like, it just takes you 15 minutes or not even an hour to like, oh, I'm really good now. That's the difference between, yeah, maybe you have some skill, but you're also so lazy you can't be bothered to put in that little bit of time to make yourself that much better. So really, how good are you? John Torn. What is the best bike you've ever owned? My Super Duke. Absolutely. Well, technically, no. The BMW 2018 R1200 GS Adventure was the best bike I ever owned. It was the highest valued, most useful, most expensive. That was actually the best bike I ever owned. But obviously not subjectively good enough, and I decided to not keep it over my KTM. Mick Race Fan 6057. What riding gear are you using at this time? Referencing your latest video, keep up the great work, bud. I think you're referencing the video, me talking about my stuff getting stolen. Well, as far as riding gear goes, my helmet and the camera and my microphone and my headphones, all that stuff was stolen. So I'm using a Ruroc that I still have and an older camera and just some normal headphones. It's not nearly as nice, but it works. My jacket was taken, so now I just use like my leather jacket, which it's not what I prefer to use. I like to have something more casual but with armor in it. Anyway, so I'm using a leather jacket, and gear-wise, a pair of gloves were also taken, but I have another pair that's better for summer riding. So I have stuff for the most part. Most of what I had that was stolen I've been able to replace with not as good but still useful stuff. The one thing I missed the most, not that you asked, is I used to have glasses just like this that were prescription glasses. I used those every day. I miss those. I miss being able to see things. Crazy Quarters 74. What was your dream job when you were a kid? Probably the same dream job now, which is voice acting. That's always been my dream job. Reese Rides. If it applies, what piece of life advice have you always wanted to share but never have? It's a fun one. Or What's the best piece of life advice someone's ever given you? Ironically, the best piece of life advice someone's given me, I can't tell you because by the advice, the nature of the advice, it's like a secret. You can't tell someone what it is. So like that's ironic. But the first one, it's everything you've ever heard. I wish I did that when I was younger. I wish I worked harder. Like those answers. But for me personally, and if I can put this eloquently, stuff doesn't matter. It just, I mean, like, you know that, right? You get told that all the time. And I knew better. I know that. I knew that. I grew up being told that. And yeah, I still felt the need to get all the stuff and get all the things that the world said I was supposed to do to be happy. That's like the most cynical, base version of that. I went through it and found out, I already knew better. I didn't need this stuff. So depending on what you have in mind, that just sounds really hypocritical with me holding a laptop and recording on my iPhone. But the point is, it's just stuff. Maybe stuff will make you happy. If it does, I mean, great. I hope you can be happy. But stuff didn't work for me. Suspicious cat. Why don't you drive Harleys? Because I don't want one. Darian, do you want to play Phasmophobia? That's a loaded question. Do I want to play it for 5 seconds by myself? Maybe. Do I want to play it with you for 5 hours? Maybe. A3 Max. Hey, Walter. Hope I'm not too late, ellipsis. 1, how are you doing? Like emotionally, physically, etc. I've watched you off and on for the past 2-ish years now, and I really hope you're doing okay. If I could make one recommendation, get early morning and evening sun. You're so pale. I know it sounds weird, but it really helps your mental health and well-being. I can comment on that. I don't know if you've already answered this, but I've always wondered if you've been learnt past high school, like college, trade school, etc. I only ask because you seem like a really smart guy. That's funny. And analyze things in ways that most people don't. Well, so do retarded people. That's nice of you to say, but no. You have an interest in trucks. Welcome to the club. If you could get a truck, which would it be and why? As a side note, Ford guys are often labeled as gay. Do you want do what you want with the info. P.S. Praying for stolen belongings will be returned without damage. Unfortunately, my belongings did not believe in Jesus, so they are probably most likely beyond saving. I often do. I call a self check. Like I rate my day or how I'm doing, 1 to 10, for fun, but also because it helps me evaluate where I am in life. So. 5 is technically on the bad half and 6 is technically on the good half. You can't pick 5.5 because that defeats the purpose. You need to tell if you're having a good day or a bad day. Most days I'm a 6, and for me, like, great, that means you're doing good. And it sounds like a low bar, but for me, it's a glass half full thing. Like, sweet, I'm a 6. Most days I'm a 6. I rarely go below a 6, so I'm definitely on the good side. That's the short, boring answer. Emotionally, I like to think I'm doing pretty awesome because when I see a Ford, I don't cry. And physically, my body isn't very good. I've said that my spine is bad, and I can say that that's the worst physical thing I have. My limbs work, my brain works, my organs work. Like, it's not that bad. Any truck, it would just be a Ford Raptor, something like that. If I could get any truck within a budget, it'd be like a first-gen Raptor. I think that'd be so cool. Oh yeah, and no, I had some college, and then I dropped out of college. And it was a community college. It wasn't anything prestigious. Ironically, I got a grant because I'm poor to go to school. And I went to school and thought, this isn't for me because I can't learn anything that I want to know for something that I want to do. And I took the rest of that grant money and I bought my first motorcycle for $900. And then, ironically, I made a career out of that. That could be seen as a good decision. Maybe it wasn't, but yeah. Bonnie Bunny 6857, if you could say anything to the younger people that you wish you knew before you grew up, if it's about heartbreak from a breaking of a friendship or breaking it with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, what would you say to the younger people that watch your channel? Another question is, do you ever feel like you're not good enough? And how do you combat that feeling? Yeah, sure, let's just get heavy. I'm keeping my answers kind of basic because I could rant for a long time. But I think it's very important. As far as relationally, I think it's very important to first build yourself up. Again, basic answer. But if you don't like yourself or you don't respect yourself, you can't expect anyone else to. And on the other side, if you have no one else around, I mean, if you are proud of who you are and what you've done, then you can get by. So I think it's wrong to think you have to go and attach yourself to someone else, whether that's friends, relationships. I mean, that's good, but priority shouldn't be loving yourself because you're so great, but because you need work and you're the only one who can really fix yourself before you start trying to, again, very bland answer, but I do mean that. It's a good question though. If you ever feel like you're not good enough, how do you combat that? Well, if there's a way to combat it, it's improving yourself. So again, basic answer, but I call it upward trajectory. It's one of my self-checks I do. So I think about how I'm doing that day or how I feel about my progress and position in life. And if I can make a conscious effort the next day to do a little bit better at something, especially if it's something hard, and I get to the end of that day and I go, today wasn't a waste. I did this, which is more than the day before. And if you have the discipline to do that every day, it's pretty hard to feel worthless when you think what you're doing is worthwhile. And what that takes is tiny little daily, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do this today. And it's hard. But if you can do that, I don't think you're going to feel like you're not worth anything. Oh, well, that's the last question. Well, thank you guys. Hope this video isn't too long and it wasn't too boring. And sorry it took me so long because, well, I can't remember what the excuses are, but a lot of things came up, other priorities. Main priority in life right now is school, trying to get my licensure certification to be a writer coach. Anyway, I wanted to do it because it sounded like fun and I never get a chance to just talk about whatever. So, and it's been years since I've done a Q&A. So hope this was entertaining and useful. Once again, I am going to have a meetup here in Kansas. If you go to YouTube, the community tab, it's a post that starts with mini meet plus ride. The information's there. There's a Discord server for the purpose of coordinating the ride. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's something else that you want. Ask more questions. This would be a good place to answer more in the comments if you want them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.